I would recommend looking up email benchmarks for your specific industry. And if the email platform that you're using puts out their own benchmarks, that's a great place to start. Otherwise, you can just find some general ones. And then measure your results for both the campaign side of things and the automated flow side of things and identify where the gaps are. But in general, if you're seeing that your engagement metrics and revenue metrics are exceeding industry standards, then you know you've kind of got your recipe pretty dialed in.
Oh, yes, this is the Hardcore Marketing Show. I'm Casey Cheshire, your host for this epic journey. Today's show is sponsored by Ringmaster, on a mission to launch B2B podcasts that create relationships, generate revenue, and drive growth. Ringmasterlive.com. Bam. All right, man, we are here. I've hit the button. And, sometimes when you do a podcast, you're thinking, oh, who am I going to talk to? But I got to tell you, this is the one to listen to because this particular guest came recommended to me by a good friend who worked with this person and it absolutely quadrupled, shot her email results through the roof. And I love a good email. I'm sure you listening to this love a good email, but to have a practitioner that even impresses the folks that are the practitioners, that's who I love talking to on this show. I can't wait to just crack her brain open and learn from her, right? So who is she, Casey? Who is she? Well, she's an entrepreneur. She's a marketing leader, a thought leader, really a specialist. I would call her an email whisperer, even. Years of data-driven email marketing experience, both on the B2B side and the B2C side. And my friend has seen just, again, great results. So that's why I'm excited. It's not just like, oh, let's talk hot air about things that we already know. No, let's dive in and get into it. She's worked with major companies. She is the co-founder and lifecycle marketing expert at Lifecycle Lab. Megan Brewster, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to learn from you today. This is going to be exciting. And I love a good email and I love a good email that works. So I can't wait to learn from you. So I'm going to pass you something. It's heavy, but obviously you're tough from all those emails. So here it is. Okay. Go ahead, grab Thor's hammer. You got it?
I got it.
All right. Take Thor's hammer and smash for me some kind of marketing myth, a bogus strategy, misconception. Set the record straight once and for all.
Okay, awesome. So today I'm smashing the myth that a lot of people think that the more emails you send, the more you get seen, the more revenue and engagement you get. And this is actually not the case. When you oversend, you end up potentially frustrating your audience, experiencing click fatigue, and actually getting lower results overall. So email is the most effective when you send targeted messaging to the right people at the right time. So yeah, there are just really 4 things that really allow you to make the most out of your email marketing program.
All right. This is exciting. Okay. So more is not more here.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Why do you think so many people fall into that trap? I literally was at a conference where they're like, well, if they don't open your email, just send them 2 more. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people end up falling into that trap a little bit because the inbox is really crowded these days, and it does get a little bit difficult to cut through the noise, especially if you aren't collecting data on your subscribers and then really putting yourself in their shoes, to think about their customer journey and when they would most like to receive messaging and the types of content that they'd like to receive. So if you really don't know your customer and are kind of doing a batch and blast strategy, you could be not seeing the results that you want, and then a natural path to go down is thinking, "Oh, well, if I send more, I'll get seen more." But, just the way the inbox is these days, if your audience isn't engaging, you actually won't have the best inbox placement, so sending more doesn't really fix the issue, it actually just kind of makes it a little bit worse.
Yeah, it makes it worse. You take your crappy email and just, worsen that many more people's days.
Right, unfortunately, yeah. Like, hopefully I know everyone's goal is usually to not make people's day worse, so, So, yeah, but it's definitely tough.
You're not probably in the camp then of saying email is dead, because you hear that sometimes.
No, absolutely not. Email is not dead. It just needs to be strategic and data driven. So, a lot of companies that I've worked with and clients that I've seen are getting really great results from email. They're driving revenue. A lot of times, above 30% of their overall business revenue comes from the email channel. They're driving leads and also able to reach their audience directly. So it's definitely not a channel that's dead. It just needs to be done a little bit more precisely these days.
Okay, and so, I see, I would think that people would know how to do it by now, right?
I think like though the industry has been around for a while, not every business owner and marketer has been an expert in this area forever. So, I definitely think that there are a lot of people who are new to email and new to marketing as a whole, and it's totally okay, if they don't know all of the best practices right away. That's kind of what the experts are here for. We're here to teach and help and drive strategy.
Right. Okay. Well, let's roll up the sleeves. Like, don't do it. Don't just send the same crappy email multiple times. Do it the right way. How do we approach this?
Well, so there are a few strategies that I've seen really work well overall. And first is kind of considering the 80/20 rule and applying that to your customer base. So, what I've seen for a lot of businesses is that in general, the top 20% of your customers are responsible for bringing in 80% of the revenue. So it's important to kind of put yourself in their shoes first by identifying who they are, like who are your highest value customers? Are there any patterns in, their income level, their demographic information, just any patterns that you can see? And then really creating a tailored strategy for that group that doesn't exhaust them. Because if you are really just kind of doing that spray and pray method, that most loyal group is the group that you're exhausting first because they wanna engage with your content, but if they're just seeing too much of it, they get frustrated.
You know what's interesting? I've seen people do this right and do it wrong. And when they do it wrong, it's another reminder that I wanted to unsubscribe from them. And shame on me for not doing it earlier, so now I'm gonna do it. But the flip side is, like, the dang Royal Caribbean email that's reminding me to book my family vacation, and they send it to me every freaking week telling me that it's, like, $500 off per person or something like that. I get it, it's not really real, but maybe real, but it's like, I almost think of it as like a to-do reminder that I need to book those, you know?
Yeah, definitely, and if those are working really well, maybe they have their targeting down, and so if it's feeling a little bit more like they're checking off a box on your to-do list, then that's an example of good targeting.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
How do you know if it's right, if it's good targeting?
Well, so I think the data will really tell that story for you. So if you're seeing that, so I would recommend looking up email benchmarks for your specific industry. And if the email platform that you're using puts out their own benchmarks, that's a great place to start. Otherwise, you can just find some general ones. And then measure your results for both the campaign side of things and the automated flow side of things and identify where the gaps are. But in general, if you're seeing that your engagement metrics and revenue metrics are exceeding industry standards, then you've kind of got your recipe pretty dialed in.
Yeah, so really just, looking at that data too, right? Like that it's not so much that intuitive like, "Oh, I think this is working."
Yeah, the data will definitely tell the story because if you're seeing like across the board pretty low click rates, kind of stuff is just trickling in. It feels like the emails that were working before aren't working now. That's a sign that there's an issue with some piece of your messaging.
Right, okay, got it, and that's step 1 is like, who are we going who's sending this to?
Yes. Yeah. Step one is who, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Then I think another step that is really crucial is, so we kinda talked about looking at metrics for both campaigns and automated flows, but, one thing is really paying more attention to those automated flows. They're kind of something that ends up, for a lot of businesses, getting left in the background. Like, a lot of times it'll be like, flows get built out, and then they just kinda sit for a few years, and then they have outdated branding, not the most up-to-date products or offerings, and those automated flows are really a huge opportunity. Like, we should be seeing probably around 50% of the email program's revenue coming from those, um, and they're a great opportunity to target people when they take an action that you set.
Got it, okay.
Some great examples of flows to target would be like, uh abandoned checkout is an obvious one, but really one that is, often forgotten is the post-purchase journey. So that's just as important as converting new customers, making sure we're paying attention to retention and kinda welcoming people to the customer base as well.
With our mutual friend that you just totally blew up the email campaign and made it just totally sing, were there certain areas, like, what drove that? Was it the targeting? What are the different things that like, I don't know if you have any sort of examples or stories, you don't have to get specifics, but, like, what tweaks got you the results that you got for her?
Yeah, definitely. So in that case, one of the major levers that we were able to pull, was on the design side. So, when someone opens an email, you really only get about 15 or 20 seconds to catch their attention and get that click before they bounce. And so really just making sure that the main point of the email is very clear and that there's an eye-catching header image, and kind of a really clear call to action above the fold. That made a huge difference in results. And then, also it was on the automated flow side as well. That was huge for this client. We really revamped, kind of most of the core automations, on the pre-purchase side, starting with welcome flow, browse abandonment, abandoned checkout. And so really optimizing that part of the customer journey helped a lot as well.
Now did was that part of flows, or did I just kinda, like, jump ahead on you?
Well, it was a little bit ahead, but actually, that applies to flows as well. Like, those design optimizations are things that you wanna be making, across your entire email program, both campaigns and flows.
Sweet, so once you've done that, what's the next step?
Yeah, well, the next step is, making sure that on the campaign side, you're looking at your strategy from kind of a bird's eye view. So one mistake that I've seen a lot is people kind of keep each campaign in its own silo, and that removes the opportunity to build upon content from previous campaigns, but also, things like, for example, Black Friday and the Christmas holiday season. Those are huge e-commerce times, and if you're just looking at your campaigns in a silo, you might end up, uh, just running your Black Friday promotion, a set percentage off, whatever, and it might perform, but, if you're looking at your campaign strategy a little bit more holistically, in the months leading up to Black Friday, you're pulling segments of people who purchased and engaged last holiday season. You're thinking about, what products might they wanna buy during this holiday season, and you're sending out targeted content about those products before Black Friday to get them ready and engaged and kind of ready to buy during the promo. And then also thinking about, like, what are some common objections people to have to buying your product or service, and kind of trying to knock those out ahead of the holiday season as well. So it ends up giving you, just a bit more of a strategic approach rather than just sending out a promo.
I totally get that. And I've been guilty of that where you kind of consider whatever you're doing in a silo, its own individual campaign. How did it do? It's all based on its own self, its own email and copy but stringing them together and building like a great narrative or show, I could see that totally making it way better. Maybe harder to track, but also that much better of a customer experience, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and it all kind of ends up naturally making it so that if you're doing all of these things, it's it's difficult to oversend because you're realizing like, "Oh my gosh, okay, well, they just got this, this, and this, and so if that was me in their shoes, like, I wouldn't wanna also get this, 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 and this." Like, it kind of helps you naturally control that sending volume a little bit.
Got it. Now talk to me about volume then. Um, or is that am I jumping ahead?
No, you're good.
Yeah, volume. How much is too much?
Yeah, so I think, like everything else, it's kind of the data's gonna tell the story. So in general, there are some benchmarks that we can follow, like, if you're sending an email every single day of the week, that's probably gonna be too much. But again, it's always best to just let the data tell the story, and if you're seeing the metrics that you want and that they're above industry standard, then the volume's probably in the right spot.
Right. Okay. Fair. Um, are there implications between B2C and B2B on that?
Yes, definitely. There are, and there are also kind of strategic differences in timing. For example, with a B2B audience, where you're kind of reaching people at their on their work email, the sending times are going to be different than the ones that work for an e-commerce B2C audience. So you're going to want to hit them like during the workday, probably in the morning. But again, it's kind of a frustrating answer. It's always best to just test it, because really, every audience is so different that, like, there are some general good starting points, but, the data will tell the story.
Gosh, okay, that makes sense. Got it. I will string them together. It'll I'll look at the data. I don't even remember what number we're on, but I'm loving it. Where are we?
Well, we are at our last number, actually, number 4, which kind of this was a great segue because we've been talking about data the whole time, but the 4th thing that I feel like really levels up email strategy as a whole is following a test and learn methodology. And what that means is a lot of people end up, they do A/B test, but the piece that's kind of missing is the iteration on previous tests. So, a lot of times people will test something like, okay, subject line over here, and then maybe a call to action over here, and then, okay, maybe a design element or timing test here. But really, the best way to A B test is to kind of look at where those gaps in your metrics are. So, for example, if you're seeing that your lagging metric is the click rate compared to industry standards, you would maybe want to run a test on one type of call to action, and you might run that test like 3, 4, 5 times before getting conclusive result. And then your next test would build upon that one. So, it would probably test another call to action or another design element that's specifically related to click rate. Um, and so I do always tell my clients, like, A/B testing, it has great results in the end, but not every test is going to feel groundbreaking. Like, there's a lot of repetition, and so what we're really going for is trying to find, uh, that desired result, not trying to find the most interesting A/B test ever.
And testing for testing's sake and all that kinda, like, crazy marketing malarkey, we have to stay focused on the customer. Yeah, it's such a good point. Man. Well, what do people get wrong from this? This is, like, fantastic list. This is the strategy. I can see how you can totally change an email campaign around, breathe life back into it. Which is it one of these or just in general, what do people get wrong the most?
So, I think one pitfall that I've seen is thinking that either campaigns or automations are really where the gold mine is going to be and kind of ignoring the other side. So I've seen businesses that are really campaign heavy and then the automations are kind of struggling. And then businesses that have really like almost overly complex automated flows, but barely send anything out on the campaign side. So that's one pitfall that I've seen. Really, the answer there is you need both. It's important to have kind of both sides of that locked down, to really drive true results. Because oftentimes the campaign sends drive traffic through the automated flows too. Yeah, so that's one thing I've seen.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Huh. Well, I guess, you know, I kinda wanna shift a little bit and you're teaching us a lot. I'm curious, where do you get your information? Where do you like to run from?
Yeah, so one one place actually ends up being, just in-person events, which is crazy because I know we're all so virtual, but I am out in Utah, and there's really a great community here, for e-commerce and just business as a whole. So one place that I love to get information is actually going and seeing other people, share on topics that they are experts on. And one group that I'll call out that's awesome here is Commerce Catalyst, and then there's another one called Silicon Slopes, and they're both great resources.
Okay. Sweet. Gonna add those to the list, and what we could do is you can even add those to the show, like, we can link from the show notes kinda thing.
Absolutely.
What about the future? Is there something coming around the bend? I'm excited like, what are you excited about from the future?
Yeah, well, one thing I'm excited about, and I think also everyone else is too, but I'm really excited about AI, because I feel like this is, uh this is an area where AI is not quite there yet for email. Like, I've really been exploring a lot of different tools and in terms of actual email design and content, like it gets a little bit close, but it really just doesn't hit the mark yet. But I'm excited for the day that it does, because it'll be just another tool in our arsenal uh to make sending more streamlined. And I think that a lot's coming around the corner.
It really truly is. Um, man, I definitely have heard a lot of people writing emails or using AI to write the drafts. I can get into, like, danger land there.
Yeah, you definitely can. I think that that could be a little bit of a trap because it almost feels like a cheat for writing them, but then I think a lot of times now people are getting better at identifying AI copy and copywriting. So, I tend to use it to refine copy, but not to write it.
You're refining and, you know, it's funny, attended a panel the other day where this guy was talking about how they're massively big scale using it to create custom emails, but they had to put a filter on it. So, like, after having it draft the email before sending, they had to have it look at itself and go, "Is this good? Is this what we asked for? And is this awkward or weird? Is this like a Michael Scott moment? Is this okay?" Because some of the emails had pulled in data from other places, and they were like, "Hey, congrats on your layoffs." You know, hope it's going well." Like, yeah, no. Or, "Hey, you know, you got a new CEO, that sounds exciting," because they just got fired, you know, or something like so a little bit of humanity or some kind of extra step to go, "Is this the right thing to send?"
Yes, definitely. It does need human review because I found also, like, when we're putting ourselves in the customer's shoes, a lot of times AI isn't good at identifying what's actually important to the customer. So, like, one example that I saw recently was, there it was actually for an ad, not an email, but, it was, like, for a circle-shaped purse, and the ad was like, "Let's have a round of applause for this round bag," and I was like, "Well, no one's really like the shape is not what we're, like, looking for here." Like, it was a beautiful bag, it had a great pattern on it, like, it would go with a lot of outfits, but AI was like, "They love that it's a circle," clearly.
Wow. Yeah. It's almost like a dad joke too. "Round of applause for the round bag." Like, what is going on here? Cheesy jokes. I can't see cheesy jokes selling purses and bags and
There's probably a market for it, but, we gotta combine the cheesy jokes with, like, the elements, that people would actually buy for. So, like, definitely not the shape, maybe, like, longevity of the bag, how many outfits it goes with, like, quality of materials. Yeah.
maybe selling hardware for dad on Father's Day, but probably not the most stylish thing in the world. But I guess you never know. It depends on who your buyer is and if that's how they are.
And you know what? Like with everything, we can test it.
Yes, we can test it. That's such a good point. Um, do you have a favorite test that you like to run, or is it really case dependent?
Yeah, so it's pretty client dependent. I think that one thing one thing that I've seen perform really well recently, which is, a little bit of a newer addition to, well, the Klaviyo platform specifically, it's one of my favorites, but, is, on the SMS side, we're able to now collect an opt-in, just by sending someone a code instead of having them, like, complete the whole, like, "Okay, reply yes to subscribe," and, like, they just enter in a code that they got. And I have really been seeing a lot of success implementing that test, against, like, the traditional method, so that's one that, like, could be a pretty easy, quick win, but really in general, yeah, it's definitely based on kind of the brand and their unique challenges.
And that makes sense. It's not like one catch-all kind of thing that would fit everything.
Definitely, yeah. But a lot of times it'll be around, like, making sure that the message is really clear to whoever needs to be reading that at the time. So whatever the main point is, we wanna make sure they know that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Well, my next question is like, who are you? Who are you? How do you know these things? Can you take me back in time, like little Megan days? Do you know you're gonna be just rocking the email and marketing world for all your clients?
Yeah, I had no idea. Well, so I guess who am I? I grew up in Florida and I went to the University of Florida and kind of fell into marketing. I was managing a coffee shop in in kind of a tech building, and I was in grad school, and I was looking for internships, and I was talking to all the customers, and I was like, "Yeah, I really wanna try different things, I'm looking to branch out in the business world," and one of the customers was actually, the head of marketing at this tech company, and she was like, "Well, have you thought about marketing? Like, we have an opening on the team." And, I honestly hadn't considered it at first, but I was like, "You know what? That sounds really fun." And so ended up trying it out and then, kinda going full-time at that company from there, and, going down that email pathway, I ended up just really loving it because, it's a really great blend of both being able to be creative and being able to be analytical, and so then just ended up, going down an agency path with both agency and in-house roles and then branching out on my own from there.
You know, and I also find that like how you grow up and how you come into the marketing space tends to flavor your marketing, right? That tends to it's almost like a cast iron skillet. It's, you know?
Yeah. Well, in that case, mine was flavored with espresso, I guess.
Espresso flavored, let's go. I like that. I like that. Do you actually have espresso?
I do. Yeah, I've got
Do you have, like, your own little, like, machine, or do you
I do. I have an espresso machine out there. I actually, like, collect espresso mugs. So, yeah,
Oh, we've got some at our house that are, like, have cool phrases on the front and back. Do yours do that too, or
that's so nice. No, I don't think I have any cool phrases.
okay, we'll have to connect you with that.
Yeah, definitely. Send me the link.
Yeah, right? Okay, well, you know, one question I'd love to bounce off you, it's a bit of a hypothetical question, though. So, yeah, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, alright. You see, I may or may not have a time machine here in New Hampshire.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I it is, and let's be fair, it's in the backyard covered in a tarp. Next time you come to a customer visit or inbound, if they ever move it back to Boston, which they should, then, come hang out, right? So drive a little bit north and you hang out, we get some beer, some lobster, and use the time machine. Now, it's a particular kind of time machine where you get to go visit yourself and you get to meet yourself just a little bit after, like 4 days after that health degree, right? 4 days after graduating with that, you get to go talk to that Megan. What would you tell her?
Yeah. Well, I think I would tell her, really not to worry so much, because I think at that time, I didn't know what direction life was gonna go in, like, I just finished the health degree, I kinda knew that that wasn't the field that I really wanted to go into, but I didn't know what field would end up being the answer, and so I remember I spent a lot of time during those years just really worrying about trying to find the perfect career. And kind of what I realize now is what the perfect career is looks different depending on your phase of life, and it's gonna grow and evolve naturally. And as long as you are really trying your best to learn and, to really just, I guess, put good out into the world, everything's gonna work out.
Yeah, like, so what do you think that Megan's looking at when you talk to her career-wise?
So back then, I really I knew that I wanted to do something that, allowed a little bit more location flexibility because I really like travel, and really, just didn't want to have to stay in one place, and so I think at that time I didn't know what would fit that. So she was just looking at kind of all of the options and being like a little bit overwhelmed, like, "Okay, I really like this, but I don't know what will end up fitting that definition." And marketing's really kind of just been like a little bit of the missing puzzle piece because right now it's a great career, it blends kind of, like I said, both the creative and analytical, and then also it is location independent if you're remote, which I am. So it kinda ended up being pretty perfect.
That's really cool. Um, do you think you would listen to yourself? Do you think you would listen to any advice?
No, definitely not. I would've still kept trying to find the perfect thing, but maybe it would've given a bit of peace of mind at least, but yeah, at that time and I think it's pretty natural for everyone to do that, like, we're all trying to, like, optimize what we're doing as much as possible, so yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, some of these things you learn from, yeah, the good and the bad. Sometimes when things are good, you just think you're invincible and you're not really sure what the learning is. But the negative ones, oh, yep, I know what the learning was there. Yep, thank you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's true, those end up being pretty clear, but then hopefully something good comes out of something bad.
Right, right. And you can learn from it and then double up on it in the right way the next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, if people want to reach out and connect with you, where do you want them to go?
Yeah, so I think LinkedIn would be a great place to start, I'm happy to connect, with anyone there, and if you ever just, wanna see how your email program is doing, I do offer free audits, so that could be a great resource, or I'm just happy to chat. And then also, Lifecycle Lab is offering a free holiday calendar, so that would be a great place to check out, and I know we're, like, right on top of Black Friday right now, but it could be a great tool to see, kind of what you can tweak last minute, and if not, try to apply the learnings to the next year.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because we're all definitely in the middle of that 2026 planning, so
Yeah, definitely.
it's a good note to apply it somewhere. Do something with the information. Don't just listen to a pod and not do anything with it. Put these things to use.
Yeah, definitely. I always, listening to content like this, I try to just pick, like, one thing and try to apply it right away, so I think that's a great advice.
Got it. Yeah, totally. Speaking of great advice, thank you. Thank you for coming
Yeah.
on here. This is like it's been our own little time warp. Like, thank you for coming on here, just reminding us and then showing us the way on what is most important on email so we don't just fall into that trap of doing more, doing them independent, not thinking about the flow of things, the customer journey. Yeah, lots of things that I'm thinking about now in terms of my own emails after this episode. So thank you.
Yeah, of course, and thank you so much. It's been great to be here. It's a really fun show.
Well, I appreciate that. It is a fun show, and I'm glad I had a chance to have fun with you today. And this is just so cool for those listening. If you learned something, I know you freaking did. Then take this episode and share with one person or two people or 9,000 people, and just good information to other people's hands. Hey, the next time you get a terrible email, take a link to this episode and send it back to that company and say, "Hey, you guys need to think about this because yeah, your email game is a little rough. Maybe Megan can help you out a little bit." So, with that, Megan, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, this has been a crazy cool very exciting episode of the Hardcore Marketing Show. We will catch you all next time.